Hi guys, Ron here and welcome to the workshop. Just got home from the cross-country marathon national championships in Košice, Slovakia, and I have to say it didn't really go as planned, although I had some very good feelings about the race. But well, I wanted to show you this new product anyway, but didn't have time to do a video before I left, and I put it through the test quite thoroughly today, unfortunately. So let's just get to it. So I've already shown you my cross-country marathon bike that I've just built up and started racing on, which is an S-Works Epic. And for this race I was a bit more prepared than last time when I raced on the Cannondale, and I wanted to make sure that I can finish the race when I get a puncture or some kind of mechanical. So I have this little neat saddlebag in here, and I wanted to make sure that I don't need to carry a spare inner tube, so I could plug my tires in a tubeless way. And for that I got this very neat Samurai bar end kit, which is essentially one end is a reamer tool to prepare the hole for which you want to plug, and the other one is actually the tire plug insertion tool. So pretty neat setup. It just goes into the bar ends. By the way, some of you have been asking about the MV bar. Eventually I decided to cut it down to 720mm from the original 760. That was just overkill for a cross-country bike and I wasn't very comfortable in it. It's perfect this way. So I have the Samurai kit as my bar ends, and I had 4 tire plugs in my saddlebag over here, and also 4 CO2 cartridges with an inflator. So that's what I have here, or at least I had. And to be honest, I was really very hopeful that I didn't get to use it today. Unfortunately, I made quite some rookie errors at today's race, but you will even learn, I guess. So this is my saddlebag, cup of stuff in it, CO2 inflator. This one is from Crank Brothers, works pretty well. And here are the cartridges themselves, a bit of cloth, and some other stuff, zip ties, etc. So I had 4 cartridges, I used all of them. And the reason for that is, well, in my first cross-country race at the Danube marathon, the elite riders racing the long course, including me, were lined up at the front of the start grid, but not today. I arrived 10 minutes before the race, or before the start, to the start area, and well, it was crowded. Around 450 people on the start line, and well, I had to slot back into the very end of the pack, which is, well, a bit weird, I think. So right after the start I already had, well, basically a gap of 1 minute to the lead riders, just because, well, I messed it up. So that was a bit of a negative thing, but still the track on the first part was quite wide. I managed to overtake many riders, and on this bike I felt that I was flying on the flowy single track. By the way, excellent race conditions in the Jahodna ski resort, very well maintained, flowy bike trails. So I felt I was flying on those, overtaking many people. I wasn't letting it so loose on the gravelly descents because, well, crashes on there are much more nasty. But anyway, we came up to a section when there was sort of a B line and then the A line with some rocky steps in there. And I wanted to overtake some riders, and I took the risk basically, flew through the rocks, and I managed to bottom out my tire and just essentially slash it into pieces. So this is not a very good light angle. So I got a cut right here at the bead and another nasty one around 1 centimeter in length up here. So I stopped. I thought, well, this is no big deal, the rim is not damaged, and I plugged them in with 2 tire plugs. I lost many places, but time wise just around 2 minutes, so it wasn't too bad. I was very quick about it, inflated it with my CO2 cartridge, carried on at a breakneck pace again, and it lasted for around 15 kilometers, I think, when I hit another rocky section, quite technical. There were some big G-outs in there, and the tire plug I had here just flew off. I installed another one, inflated it again. The riders I took again took me back, and I was basically starting all over again. Quite demotivating, but again I felt I had the pace to just go through the pack, uphill, downhill, whatever. Although I did have some hiccups at the technical sections, at the narrower parts of the trail. I just couldn't go my own pace. Didn't have a clear track ahead of me, and then well, it happened again for the 3rd time. The plug just went off and the hole was getting bigger and bigger, and at that point I couldn't really get it inflated, but I've managed to do that. I've lost around 5 to 6 minutes and got going again, but then after around 100 meters it was just all over again, all bad. And at that point I didn't have any cartridges left, and I couldn't reinflate the tire, even though I managed to patch it up quite well. As you can see, I have inflated it later on with a floor pump, and it's holding air, although I think the problem was, or is, that if I started riding this again pretty hard, then it would just flow out. So it took quite an unfortunate turn for me, but I guess the takeaway from here is, well, actually the impact wasn't too bad. I didn't even hear the rim ding, or you know, that bad sound the wheel makes when you hit something hard. I think just the tire pressures that MV recommend with these rims are not enough if you're charging hard through the rocky stuff. So next time I need to be, well, maybe a little bit more careful, and I need some more pressure in there to prevent this from happening. I had to give the race up at around the halfway point, so that was a bit of a disappointment. As I said, the track was amazing. I was really enjoying the trails, but yeah, that's how it went down. I couldn't really make a dent in the bid for the national championship, but that's racing, I guess. I think we all make these rookie mistakes in the end, or at the beginning of trying something, so yeah, maybe next time. And I can testify the samurai kit is just a lifesaver sometimes, unless you're an idiot and put a hole that's too large to seal even with that. So anyway, that's my quick report / tech recap of my bike and how it went. If you want to see more content about this bike, or perhaps some of my other bikes, then don't forget to tune into the channel later on and subscribe. It's all for today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.